nice start. I don't want to throw numbers at you, but obviously you've been able to perform since this season started, and it looks like the jump in level has not been anything that you haven't been prepared for.
Yeah, definitely. The pitching's definitely different, like I told my parents before. The pitchers know how to locate their fastball, obviously, and they can actually locate their off speed, whereas in Orem, they would throw their off speed, but it would be for a ball. So then I would just sit fastball. But here it's kind of a different playing level. They can locate 2 to 3 pitches.
And I worked in the Pioneer League for a decade, and I always compare it with much love and respect for the league. Most of those guys are just signed, and for them it's almost a continuation of their college season and they went and played in the Cape Cod League. They went and played in the Northwoods League, and so they've had that experience of leaving college, going to a team for the summer, and playing. And I always say it's almost like a summer ball team on steroids. You've now done this where you've gone through spring training and now you're into full season. Tell us about that adjustment, the first time going into spring training.
Spring training was definitely different. I almost compare it to like a fall ball in college. Just waking up early, getting a lift in, stretching, and then you're on the field for practice, and you have lunch, then you have a game. It was definitely different at first. It took about a week to get acclimated, just with waking up and everything's going and going and going. And then your day finally stops at 3, but then the next day you have to wake up and do the same exact thing over and over. But it took about a week, but it's been a fun transition into pro ball, coming from spring training and going into this.
You grew up in Scottsdale, and it's an industry town. I mean, there's baseball everywhere. There's tons of players and coaches that live there. What's it like being a kid who grows up playing baseball in Scottsdale as opposed to the guys who kind of have been drawn there from around the country for baseball?
I think there's definitely an advantage there. I mean, it's playing baseball year-round, regardless if it's in the summer and 110-degree heat or if it's in the winter. I mean, people from other states, don't experience the winter that we have in Arizona. It's a frigid 65 degrees, and you're out there playing. But I definitely enjoyed growing up in Scottsdale. Being able to play. I played on the Los Angeles Angels scout team year-round, so that was pretty cool too.
The Scottsdale aspect of it, the spring training, the fun that all the fans see. You got to experience the other side of that in spring training this year, the minor league complex side. It's a little different feel, huh?
It is. I mean, I grew up, my dad's a big Padres fan, so when I was younger, he would almost use me and give me a baseball and make me go get autographs with the big-time players for the Padres at the time, like Khalil Green and Brian Giles. But yeah, I got to experience the minor league side, which was, it's completely different from what you see, but I mean, it was a great experience nonetheless.
Now, you grew up in Scottsdale, and that's, I mean, let's be honest, that's ASU territory, and you end up going down to Tucson for college. Was there any consternation about that move?
Not really. I mean, growing up, I was a huge Sun Devils fan. I played on the Scottsdale Sun Devils. My room was actually painted maroon and gold. And then I spoke to both the schools pretty decent amount, and I just felt like U of A was a better fit. I went on campus, visited it. It was just a tight-knit community, college campus, and everything was close as to where ASU rather. It's spread out. You have a 20-minute bike ride to one class. I fell in love with U of A right when I stepped on campus.
Kind of nice too, in the sense that it's close enough that the visit can happen, but far enough that maybe that pop in by the parents isn't quite as easy.
Exactly. It's a perfect amount of distance. You're not gonna. If I went to ASU rather, I'd stay at my parents' house, but I wouldn't be able to get that college aspect, being away and really maturing as a person and as a player. So I definitely think I made the right decision going to U of A.
We're talking with Zach Gibbons of the 66ers, and we mentioned U of A, and you have Cody Raymer on this team, who is a really nice player and a guy you obviously were great friends with in college. And then tonight you face Nathan Bannister, another one of your buddies. Now, you guys all had a dirty apartment together in Tucson, right?
We had a dirty apartment. I was the main contributor to that. I was a big Taco Bell eater my sophomore year, and I'd leave the Taco Bell trash around. But no, it's going to be fun. Like you said earlier, me and Banny were roommates my freshman year in the dorms, and then Raymer was right down the hall, so we really kicked it off right there. And my sophomore and junior year, we lived in the same house.
So you gave me a little scouting report, a command guy, and he was one of the guys for Arizona. And obviously, when you get to pro ball, all the guys were a guy for a team. But you guys seem to have a pretty tight knit program there. It's a program that's got great history, and a program that also the guys seem to like being Wildcats. I know that sounds silly, but it's not just a stepping stone. There's a lot of pride there.
Yeah, Coach Johnson came in and did a great job. And before my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, we had Coach Andy Lopez, who did a tremendous job, but he was more of a coach for life after baseball, almost getting you ready for life, not so much baseball. And then Jay Johnson came in, and he did a tremendous job, and teaching the fundamental game of baseball, doing things right. And no, we love playing for him.
Now, for you, were there guys that you emulated growing up? Obviously, you saw like a lot of great baseball. Was there a guy who you said to yourself, "That's the guy I want to be"?
It's funny, Cole Calhoun. I watched him play at ASU. Like I said, I was a huge ASU fan. And then actually, me and Cody Raymer, when they were in Omaha, I think that was his junior year. He didn't get drafted. And me and Cody Raymer were in the same tournament. We didn't know each other back then. And I got to watch him in Omaha, and then him being a senior sign. I'm also a senior sign. Just the way he goes about it, always hustling, no matter if he's 0 for 4 or 4 for 4.
And it's funny because I saw him in Orem years ago, and I said, wait, how come this guy's not on anyone's radar yet? Now, for you though, obviously we look up to people, or we say that's a guy I'd like to be. But who taught you the game? Obviously, we all learn the game from coaches and friends and players that we play with. But there's usually someone who kind of was always there for you.
I would say either my dad or my grandfather. One of my main.
You can say both.
I'll say both then. One of my main memories was just playing catch with my grandpa in the front yard back at his house in Tucson. We'd go down there and visit quite frequently, and he played on the Toledo Mudheads before he went over to war. So I would definitely, if I'm in a slump or I'm kind of in my head or just not feeling right, I'll definitely give him a call first, and he'll just talk baseball, and he'll just remind me of where I'm at and stuff like that. And same with my dad. I mean, I think they're both big influences in my career.
I would think that keeps it in perspective. Hey, were you ever in a slump? Yeah, I was in a slump, but then they sent me to war.
Exactly. No, he would always bring that up and just remember it could be worse. I mean, like, he got to experience baseball and then go into war too. So he just said, remember where you're at and just go out there and play every game like it's your last.
Well, you certainly do play hard. Now, for you, with the Angels being the parent club, you look where you're going to be and things like that. And last year you were in Orem. This spring, did you have any idea that you'd leapfrog low A?
I had no clue, honestly. It's great to do that because I heard Burlington's gets pretty cold. And no, but it was an awesome time just being able to go out in spring training and just show what you're worth, really. Going from Orem, and I didn't really have a choice where I went. Obviously, it's up to the coordinators and the coaches, but just going out and just, like I said, just playing it every game like it's your last.
All right. Well, Zach, we appreciate your time and wish you the best of luck, and we'll catch up with you down the road, all right?
Thank you for having me.
That's Zach Gibbons, outfielder for the 66ers. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. You're listening to the San Manuel pregame show.